to call somebody.
What you gonna do?
I am CM Punk, and I am the voice of the voiceless.
You're making me crazy. Yeah!
Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Wrestling's For Real podcast. I, of course, am your host, Scott, coming to you each and every week to deliver you the unique stylings of my own personal commentary on the week that was in professional wrestling. Got a lot of things going on right now. I got a couple of projects. I'm trying to work on the website. I'm trying to finally get this show up on iTunes. I'm running into a couple of little problems with Podbean, so I'm not too happy with them right now, but we'll get it done. Speaking of the internet, if you would like to check out Wrestling's For Real anywhere on the web, which, by the way, Wrestling's For Real is a part of the brand new 3 Count Radio podcast network. My friends over at 3 Count Radio have a really, really good podcast themselves going on over there. You guys should check that out at 3countradio.com. There's also a couple of other shows that have spawned. We're all fans of the show, and I guess a few my show started, and then I guess a few other people started up a podcast as well. So we have the brand new 3 Count Radio podcast network. So check that out, guys. But for Wrestling's For Real, you can check us out on Facebook, Wrestling's For Real. I always do this. It's facebook.com/Wrestling's For Real. On Twitter, @Wrestling's For Real. The current home of our show is YouTube, and that's Wrestling's For Real. And those are all with 4s, guys. The number 4 is in there. So that's enough housekeeping for this week, I guess, in the beginning of the show. Let's just get into it. It's going to be a good Raw. There's a lot going on as we, the final weeks heading into WrestleMania. So, Raws are going to be good. TV's going to be good. We get to tie up all the storylines and get all the matches and feuds situated. So, let's kick it off with our Raw coverage. And Raw comes to you this week from Portland, Oregon. We begin our show immediately with the introduction of our first match. It's going to be the third in the series of CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan, champion versus champion matches. Or is it? This is a great start. Punk comes out first, which is weird that the main guy would come out first, but I guess it's a ratings thing when they do that, trying to get people to stay on the channel. So Punk gets in the ring, and he is followed by Jericho. Before Daniel Bryan can even be introduced, Jericho's music hits, and he comes down and gets in the ring, and he says to Punk, "Oh, what's the matter, Punk? Were you expecting somebody else?" And it's great. Punk just not on the mic, but he says it to him, and you can read his lips. He's like, yeah, I was expecting somewhere else. Someone else. It's fantastic. Punk is just great. Jericho proceeds to tell Punk that, Punk's actually a favorite of his. He thinks he's a great performer, but he's not the best in the world.
You see, I never had to call myself the best in the world. Other people said it for me. These people said it for me. And I never never had to write it on the back of a t-shirt. They would write it on signs and bring it to the arena. And the reason for that is this. I am part of a special breed of performers. I am one of a literal dying breed of performers that toured the world, honing our craft, learning our skills, becoming stars before we ever got to the WWE. A breed that cared more about having the best match on the show than personal politics, didn't care what the hierarchy thought of us, what position we were slotted in, what we were supposed to be. A breed of performers that were given nothing and took everything. And yeah, I developed a chip on my shoulder because of it. And yeah, I got a bad attitude and a bad reputation in the back with the powers that be because of it, but I didn't give a damn because I knew I was good. I knew I was the best.
You know, and Jericho's right. He is pretty much the absolute last of a dying breed of performers that learned their craft and applied it around the world to become just that good. You get guys like Jericho came up in that whole era of guys like, you know, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, for example. These guys all toured the entire world before ever making a name for them in the U.S. These guys, you know, they wrestled in Canada, they wrestled in Mexico, they wrestled in Japan, and then, you know, eventually filtered through ECW and then went to WCW before coming to WWE. But the point is that the way system is set up now, guys don't spend the time and don't spend the years needed training in different areas across the world to become that type of wrestler. That just doesn't happen. The way WWE has it, I mean, they bought everything. The territories are long gone. There's no more competition. I mean, TNA really isn't much competition for them. There's not a whole lot of places guys can go to get quality experience. And WWE has their thing in Florida, and after 9 months you're on TV and you're not ready and it shows. And it's just sad that today's workers just, I guess, won't go the lengths, or I mean, it's kind of because of how the system has been broken down. But it's sad that Jericho is the last stop in that line of that special, unique kind of wrestler. And you know, it's just sad. Anyway, Jericho goes on to call Punk a Jericho wannabe.
You're a Chris Jericho wannabe, just like all of them are Chris Jericho wannabes, and it's so obviously, oh yeah, you know it's true, and it's so obviously blatant by the fact you plagiarize me every step of the way.
Just stop.
Don't you tell me to stop, boy. I'm talking to you.
And I'm listening, but I think everybody else is sick of listening. So I'm gonna go ahead. Look, Chris, I know how good you are. These people know how good you are. My problem I have with you is you coming out here and insinuating that I've stolen anything from you. No, I've never plagiarized anything in my life. Everything I have, I've fought for and I've earned. It's right here. You think you invented saying that you were the best? Are you kidding me? Hey, there's a guy I remember watching when I was a kid. You probably watched him when you were a kid too. His name's Bret Hitman Hart. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Did you invent that? Did you give that to him when you were, what, 2 years old? Huh? He's Canadian too. Did you invent him being Canadian? Did you invent Canada?
Oh yeah, laugh along. Laugh it up with Punk. Laugh along with Punk. Very nice. Because it's oh so typical Punk. So smarmy.
The two of these guys together are just phenomenal. And I love how Punk brings it back to Bret Hart. You know, the best there is, the best there was, there ever will be. But I think the point to take out of this statement is that the fact of the matter is that wrestling in itself is cyclical, and it's just a repetitive ripoff of itself. But there's some more here.
See, I say I'm the best in the world, and yeah, that's a little cocky, but confidence is nothing that I've ever lacked, and it's nothing I thought you lacked. But now that confidence, Chris, it seems to be replaced with jealousy. See, you look at me and you see a guy that emerged from the same shadows you did. He came from the same places you did. He overcame the same obstacles you did. But now, he surpassed everything that you did, didn't he? Because sure, you beat legends. You beat the Stone Cold and you beat Rock on the same night 10 years ago, and that made you the WWE champion. But you were never really the man like how I'm the man, were you? And that just bothers you a little bit, doesn't it? You have a Napoleon complex because of it. So you come back and you try to point fingers and place the blame. The blame's only on you. See, you say that you're the best in the world at what you do, and I say that I'm the best wrestler in the world. The distinction to me is very simple. This is nothing I chose. I was born this way. This is who I am. This is what I do. While you choose to leave and write books and have a radio show and be on game shows, and you choose to be a rock star. And all the while, I'm here on top, swimming with sharks, while you're dancing with stars.
What a great line. I was here swimming with sharks while you were dancing with stars. That's fantastic. Plus the mere fact that Jericho says he's the best in the world at every single thing he does. I think he came in like 7th or 8th or something on that show. But can anyone please tell me why in the world that this match is not the main event of WrestleMania? It's ridiculous. I could totally do without John Cena and The Rock. This, to me, is the true main event of WrestleMania. This is going to kill it. If this is anything less than a 5-star match, I will be severely both surprised and disappointed. I think that this is Punk's, like, really... This could be a career-defining match for him. Not that the thing over the summer with Cena wasn't, but this is like Punk's chance to have that really true, incredible WrestleMania moment. I mean, there's a good chance Jericho's going to win the belt, but I mean, I think there's been a tour announced for Fozzy for June or something, but I mean, that gives time for Jericho to have her for a couple months, but I think Punk comes out really, really strong if he wins this match. But, the two of you guys aren't quite done with each other yet.
When I was dancing with stars, Punk, and killing it on The Tonight Show and becoming a bigger star than you ever were, all I could think of was one thing, and that was you ripping me off. Every single night, you ripping me off, Punk. And let me be completely clear and honest with you. All of those January 2nd vignettes and the best in the world verbiage and this light up, flashy, fancy jacket, it's all window dressing because I came back to the WWE for one reason and one reason only. And that was to embarrass you on the biggest stage in the world. To take back what is mine, to beat you for that world title at WrestleMania and shove down your throat that I am the best in the world at what I do. I prove it, I claim it, I am it every single night.
And I don't know why this couldn't have just been the setup for this match Everything Jericho said right there. All he thought about was Punk ripping him off every single night with the best in the world. I don't know why we needed the Battle Royal to get to this match. I mean, all that did was friggin' take Wade Barrett out of WrestleMania. So we could have just done without that whole thing, and this should have been the setup. But whatever. Punk goes on to say that he doesn't need anything else. All he needs is him and Jericho in a ring to put on the best match possible, best in the world versus best in the world, and says that when Punk wins, it's not going to be the end of the world as you know it. It's just going to be the end of Jericho's. And with that ends the promo, and we get our Daniel Bryan introduction. Daniel Bryan comes out with AJ, Joe Laurinaitis, and Dave Otunga in tow. So we start the match as an early distraction on CM Punk by Joe Laurinaitis, and Bryan just jumps Punk immediately at the beginning of the match. At one point, Punk throws Bryan out of the ring. We go to commercial. We come back, and now Teddy Long and John Laurinaitis are arguing outside on commentary, and I don't know when Teddy Long ended up out there, but he did. Bryan throws Punk out of the ring at one point. He's going for the suicide dive. I'm sorry. CM Punk has Bryan outside of the ring, and he goes for a suicide dive. AJ gets in the way and blocks it. So she's getting herself more and more involved in Daniel Bryan's matches. I don't necessarily like it. I think they need to drop the whole girlfriend thing. Punk gets thrown into the steps. We come back from another break, and it just becomes apparent that this match isn't about CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. It's about John Laurinaitis versus Teddy Long, and they're building another WrestleMania feud within this match. Dave Otunga gets up on the apron, causes a distraction. Santino gets up and hits Otunga with the Cobra out of nowhere. John Laurinaitis runs over, pulls down Santino. John Laurinaitis and Teddy Long are arguing on the floor. While this is going on, Bryan grabs the belt and tries to leave. Sheamus comes out again and throws Bryan into the ring, who gets caught in a GTS for the 1-2-3. Now, John Laurinaitis is freaking out. He waves it off. He tries to say that that's not going to be the end of the match. Teddy Long pushes Laurinaitis on his ass outside the ring. At which point, while the two of them are arguing, Punk has now left the ring. He's all the way up the ramp. Jericho comes out of nowhere, attacks Punk, slams him on the stage, and then puts him in the real Walls of Jericho. And I couldn't friggin' believe it. I marked out. Thank God Jericho put him in essentially the Lion Tamer. You know, the original Walls of Jericho, the way it should be done, not this shitty Boston Crab he's been using for whatever reason. It was really good to see him bring that move back like that. We come back from break and find Josh Matthews out back. Says that he saw Punk being helped by the trainers. We then get an Undertaker Triple H video package that will play probably about 72 more times on the way to WrestleMania. We also get a little tease that there's some sort of phone interview took place with Shawn Michaels on WWE.com concerning Triple H accepting the match with Undertaker. I guess apparently Michaels completely flips out and loses it in this thing, and we'll have more on this later. And then tonight we're gonna have. I'm so sick of seeing this match. Last year's WrestleMania main event, John Cena versus The Miz, and like we said before, what a difference a year makes for The Miz, because he is just shitty. He's shitty anyway, but he was on top last year. Now look at him. We come back from break, and we get our obligatory Swamp Donkey match. Kelly versus Nikki Bella for no good friggin' reason. I have nothing to say about this match except that Kelly wins with she reverses a roll up into a bridge and wins the match. And I'm sitting here wondering when Beth Phoenix hasn't been on TV in weeks. Why? And when she is, I think she's been on Superstars, but why would you have, going into WrestleMania, your Divas champion on Superstars? When are they going to figure out who Beth's going to fight? And I'm actually hearing rumors that whatever Divas match they do have might even be the dark match at Mania, which I think just sucks for them. Granted, their matches are horrible, but they work hard all year too, and just to be slapped into the dark match, that kind of sucks. Everyone's holding out and hoping it's going to be Beth versus Karma, but I don't know, man. And I heard the worst thing. I guess apparently it came out that Karma's baby didn't survive before she was able to give birth, so that's just like, that's about the saddest thing I think I've ever heard in wrestling. So even for her to be back at the Rumble that quick after, and I don't know if she's going to be ready. Plus there's all this talk about Twitter wars with Medusa, and I don't think that's going to happen, and there's rumors about Trish Stratus, but I mean, my biggest fear right now is that it's going to end up being Beth versus Kelly at Mania, and I'm going to be pissed. Or even worse, it might be Eve Torres versus Kelly for the Divas match, with the title nowhere in sight. It's just shameful. Anyway, they tell us that tonight we'll have a tag match with Sheamus and the Big Show versus Cody Rhodes and Mark Henry. We come back from break for our John Cena versus Miz match, and Cena hits the ring first. And you know, Cena always has a comment for the cameraman when he comes out on the stage. He comes out, he's like, "Oh, you grew a beard!" Just funny little comment there. Then the Miz comes out to complain about possibly not even being involved in WrestleMania.
Before I get to you, Cena, I have something I have to get off my chest. You see, I worked too hard to be treated like this. In the past year, no one has worked harder than me. Not even John Cena. Who do you think the WWE calls upon to represent this company in all forms of media, whether it's interviews, TV, phoners? Who do you think has to fly 16 hours to Russia to do a PR to? I do. But yet, my name has yet to be called upon for WrestleMania. Shut up! You people would love it if I wasn't even on WrestleMania.
Yes, we would, Miz. Yes, we would. I personally would love to never see you darken a ring or my television ever again. I said it before, Miz is not a main event guy. He's Miz and he sucks, and I wish he would go away. But anyway, we have our match, and we immediately get our classic Cena chant. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Match wasn't very long. Cena with the moves of doom. Cena with the STF for the win. And then Rock shows up on the Titantron. And he's jumping up and down like he's warming up for a match. And it's kind of ridiculous. And he's sweating and he's just jumping up and down. And he just says some nonsense and does the Cena, you can't see me. And then he pulls down an imaginary shade. But they did a cool effect with a camera, actually. They did a fade on it, so he looked like he was doing it. But Cena's in the ring. Cena just laughs at it. And that's not the last that you'll see of these two guys tonight. We come back from break, and we have, out of nowhere, a triple threat tag team title match. Champions Epico and Primo defend against Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, and Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. And I am totally convinced that Kofi and R-Truth are going to win the belts right before WrestleMania and set up some kind of better match for them than what it looks like they're going to get. Anyway, we come back from break after introductions, and things worth noting in this match. There's a really cute spot where Ziggler from the corner does an illegal choke on Truth and just jumps right when the ref goes to turn around. He jumps off to the floor and he's pretending to take his own pulse. It's pretty funny. At one point, Truth hits a totally believable sarcasm. Totally believable suplex flatliner combo on Primo and Epico. Oh, Primo and Ziggler, rather. Ankle lock, Trouble in Paradise, backstabber for the win for the champs. And then, what the hell is Kane doing out here? Out of nowhere, Kane's pyro hits, and out comes Kane and lays out everyone. Lays out Primo on the floor, chokeslams Ziggler, Epico, and Truth in the ring. Pyro, Kane leaves. For no reason whatsoever. Is this just to let us know that he's still out there? I don't know. His big return was just basically getting his ass whipped by Cena. So, I don't know what they're going to do with him now. But, well, I have a feeling, but it's terrible. There's no reason for this. We go back into John Laurinaitis' office. We find him with David Tunga, and the two of them they're arguing about who won Best Picture at the Oscars.
I mean, the only good thing was Octavia Spencer winning, though.
I got a question. How does a guy not say one word in a movie and win Best Actor?
Oh, I don't get it. Artist, tell me about it. Must be special. This guy.
Get out! Get out of my office, Teddy! Get out!
I don't want to be in your office, but I think you want to hear this.
I don't want to hear anything you have to say.
Oh, yes, you do. You see, there's a rumor that you won't be running next week's Raw, player.
Well, I heard a rumor, Teddy. You're going to have to buy a ticket to SmackDown next week because you've been fired as GM.
Yeah.
Well, this is no rumor that you're horse's ass.
Get out! Get out of my office! Can you believe him?
It's so funny. They're arguing over who won Best Picture in the Oscars. I can't even stand it. By the way, does anyone here think that either two of those guys watched that movie, The Artist? I don't think so. So the rumor is that Teddy and John Laurinaitis are referring to, it ends up the next day on WWE.com that they announce that the board of directors have stated that Laurinaitis and Teddy Long will switch places next week. Teddy's going to run Raw, and Laurinaitis will run SmackDown just for the week. And this whole thing's going to culminate at WrestleMania with I guess it's going to be a 12-man tag match with the winning GMs, the winning team's GM or whatever, gains control of both shows. And it's tough for me to see Laurinaitis losing this, but I don't see them pulling Teddy. I mean, they can always put him back in. It wouldn't be the first time. Unless, I don't really see Teddy getting control of both shows unless they want Laurinaitis off of TV to just concentrate on his regular job. So I really don't know what's going to go on with that. We come back from break and we get a recap of Eve Torres's shocking heel turn. And then Eve goes to the ring to cut a pretty lame promo. She gets in the ring. They must have told her just wait for the crowd to shit on her, because she gets in the ring and she waits You can tell. She waits for the Hosky chant to start before she starts talking. And she goes on to say that she uses men and they like it, and that women shouldn't blame her for their own weaknesses. And that's pretty much the gist of that promo, and she leaves. Then we get Eve walking through the back right after. She bumps into Kelly, and Kelly's all upset, says that, you know, they were friends, and now it's like Eve's a totally different person, and she doesn't know her anymore, and Eve just laughs in her face and walks off, and Kelly's just sitting there angry. And this is why I'm scared that the WrestleMania Divas match is going to be Kelly versus Eve Torres. And then, this gem. We get the premiere of the new WWE film starring Edge and Jamie Kennedy, who looks terrible, by the way, bending the rules. And I'm sure this is going to be a cinematic masterpiece, just like every other piece of trash they put out. So watch out for that one, folks. We come back from break, and I just die inside because they announced that guess who's going to return Friday on SmackDown? Randy Orton. And I don't even know what to say. I'm so sick of Orton, I can't even stand it. But he's out of the title scene, so I guess that's all I can really ask for. Then we get our previously announced tag match of Sheamus and the Big Show versus Cody Rhodes and Mark Henry. And this is great. Cody's ongoing saga of just trying to embarrass the Big Show is just phenomenal. Cody gets in the ring and grabs the mic, and we get this.
Cody Rhodes still got something to say here. Quick announcement. On May 5th, Miguel Cotto faces someone you are very familiar with, Big Show, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, who weighs, 150 pounds, making what he did to you at WrestleMania 24 all the more embarrassing. Let's take a look.
Someone calls Floyd Mayweather out. I have to retaliate. Money Mayweather told me earlier he's going to be so fast on his feet that the Big Show's going to think he's surrounded. Whoa, there you go. Mayweather with those right hands staggering the Big Show. What is that? Looks like brass knucks to me. And Mayweather wins the match. Literally the biggest victory of his career.
I don't understand why Cody continues to do this.
I don't need a goal, but it's great. And you know what? Good for Big Show, I guess. You gotta give him some points for being a good sport to this whole thing and letting them just bring up absolutely every awful, embarrassing thing that's happened to him over the years. So, we start the match. Cody pretends to start like he's gonna start the match against Show. He makes Big Show chase him around the ring and then just leaves. Sheamus tags in and just waffles Mark Henry with the bro kick for the win. There wasn't too much to this match. We come back from break and we get the announcement that next week on Raw, Shawn Michaels will be in Boston, and so will I. So that's exciting. Shawn Michaels in Boston to talk to Triple H about his WrestleMania match with The Undertaker. And then we get 27 minutes of The Rock. I swear, like, here's the thing. Rock doesn't need to get in the ring 3 minutes before the show is supposed to be over. He doesn't need to have these long-ass promos. I guess the only solace in him having this match at WrestleMania this year is that he's not going to take up the first 20 minutes talking like he did last year. I'm still pissed about that. Anyway, Rock comes out, and my first thought is that Rock is not on wellness testing because he is huge. He's bigger than he was at friggin' Survivor Series, for Christ's sakes. The guy is definitely not on the same program that the rest of the talent is. So, anyway, Rock comes out, and I can immediately see that he has like promo lines written on his forearm. You can see it on his left arm. I'm looking, I'm like, did he get it? No, he didn't. He wrote on his arm. What a jerk. I know they get bullets and stuff to go off of, but come on. No, it's on the arm, and that's definitely going to come up later. Rock says that he's covered in goosebumps and shows the camera because this feels so good to be in the ring. And immediately takes a water break. He gets a bottle of water from someone at ringside, one of the techs or whatever, and then the fans just, the chants through this promo get ridiculous. I believe they start a boots to asses chant for no reason. Starts to talk about how Cena says he's, wasn't there every week. He says that he was there every week when it was his job. Says that he was born in the WWE, and without all the fans and the WWE, The Rock wouldn't exist. Rock goes on to say, basically, that him being back wasn't to be taken literal when he said that he was never leaving again, and keeps directing his comments to, quote-unquote, someone in the back. I don't know why he just doesn't say Cena. We know who he's talking to. Says that, if someone wants to take it literal, then that's basically their problem, and goes on to say that he used to think that Cena was a phony.
No. You are that guy. You're that guy who came out here last week and you ran me down. Even though I wasn't even in the building, you came out here, John. You're the guy who came out with all that passion and that anger. And you said you had to go through a wave of people just to get through to me. You couldn't talk to me directly. When the truth is, John, you have my cell phone number. You've called me before on it. But the ironic thing is, John, you see, I wouldn't even want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you on my cell. I don't want to talk to you out in public. I don't want to talk to you about there. I see you back there, John. I saw you. I see you in catering. I see you eating. Look, I don't want to talk to you. I would much rather slap your lying face with a piece of Kung Pao chicken.
Rock still does come up with a couple of good lines. As sick of him as I am right now, he's still got some funny stuff. This starts off a whole course of one-liners and chants, and Rock proceeds to say that, Cena, he says he's not a bad guy, but what he is a Kung Pao bitch. Which, of course, immediately starts a Kung Pao bitch chant. Rock goes on to talk about how Cena has said that, meaning he's fighting for all the guys in the back. He's fighting for those that wanted to become a wrestler and a WWE superstar and stay that way. Rock goes on this whole tirade about respect and how no one had to fight for him and no one had to fight for all these legends. So Rock basically compares himself to a group of legends that I don't think he has any business in doing. He says that when he was coming out as a babyface getting booed out of the building, do you think Stone Cold Steve Austin was fighting for him? He said, do you think anyone had to fight for Macho Man Randy Savage, do you think anyone had to fight for Roddy Piper? And we got a really cool Macho Man chant out of that one. Rocky says that that's alright, you can fight for the guys in the back. He goes, I fight for the people.
You hear them, John? I fight for them. I fight for the people. The same people who are so sick and tired of having a Kung Pao bitch shoved down their throat every single night. By the way, Portland right now, trending worldwide, Kung Pao bitch. You see, John, listen to them. Listen to them, John, because they're tired of you every single night. They're tired of you. They try and tell you every single night.
Well, I'm not going to argue with Rock there. I've been sick of Cena for quite a while myself. But it's just, the thing is, with this feud, that's not that I'm behind Cena per se, but I can't really get behind The Rock. It's just kind of long-winded, catchphrasey promos, and basically his whole argument. Rock doesn't really have a leg to stand on, and Cena, it's hard to not get behind someone who's 100% right. Plus, you hear all the reports that Rock's been kind of douchey backstage. He's pretty much just getting out of his limo, heading to his dressing room, heading to the ring, and then doing the same on the way out. He's not talking to anybody. He's not getting to know anybody. He's not helping. Why is he back? This guy could help so much of the young talent. Promo wise, why don't you bring on The Rock as a friggin' promo coach, you assholes? I mean, not saying that they don't want to. I'm just saying that Rock probably doesn't want to do it. He's busy. He wants to do his movies. He wants to come in and do this or that. And I don't know. It really sucks to hear that a guy that was that big of a name being that much of a douche in the back. So Rock goes on to say that the fans aren't tired of being entertained, and that's what he's here to do. And oh my God, this promo is way too long, is what I'm thinking at this point. Goes on to say how he got Cena's lady parts trending and says, "You're welcome, bitch." And the fans are simultaneously chanting Rocky and lady parts half and half with the crowd. And Rock goes, all right. Half of you chanting Rock, half of you chanting lady parts. Which one is it? Pick one. And the fans, being sheep, do whatever The Rock wants, and he gets them. All right, we'll do The Rock we'll do lady parts first, then we'll chant The Rock and whatever. Rock goes on to say how he likes to innovate.
You see, John Cena, you're back there now. I want you to listen to him. What we do, we have fun. We entertain. We innovate. What's the most innovative thing that you've done all year, John? Oh, I'll tell you what you did. You changed your jean shorts to camouflage shorts. Yeah, but here's the thing. I'll tell you right now, that camouflage is working, Jack. Because I speak for everyone here and everyone around the world to say, we can't find your balls whatsoever.
And then there's more and more, way too many now trending worldwide comments, and nobody cares, and Rock sounds like an asshole. And then I can't believe I thought this, and I'm going to say this. Thank God John Cena's music hits. Just to end this. Because I couldn't take it anymore. It's enough. And basically, Cena gets in the ring and basically owns The Rock from word one.
Oh man, whoa. This is too much fun. I was not gonna miss this. I mean, you actually referred to me as Kung Pao Chicken. Kung Pao Chicken. Only The Rock could refer to me as Kung Pao Chicken. It's genius. It's absolutely brilliant. Because every single Chinese restaurant you go to, it's always there. It's perfect, Rock. And this is perfect Rock. The Rock comes out, does his shtick, holds the millions in the palm of his hand like only The Rock can do. But I must admit, I didn't come out here to swing from the people's strudel or whatever you call on your penis nowadays. I came out here to tell you you were right. You're right, I am that guy. I'm the guy who runs you down when you're not here. But as usual, just like everything else, you're only half right. Because I'm the guy that runs you down when you are here.
I love it. Whatever The Rock's calling his penis nowadays. So funny. And it's just like, he's just calling him out on his stupid shit. It's just his recycling of all his old catchphrases and sayings and just everything. I really think it's been terrible. But Cena goes on to say that, you know, the people love The Rock, and he used to love The Rock until he got to know Dwayne Johnson. Cena then offers up his thoughts on one Dwayne Johnson. This is great.
Dwayne Johnson is a self-centered, egotistical, see-through son of a bitch. That wouldn't give a rat's ass if this company closed its doors tomorrow. Now, I'll tell you something, Jack. I don't need words like respect and loyalty to trend worldwide. Just like I don't need my notes for my promo on my wrist. Nice tattoo.
Okay, couple things. While this whole thing's going on, while Cena's talking, Rock doesn't say a word. He's just pacing back and forth like, I guess, like a tiger or something. He's just pacing back and forth, pissed. And he's probably legitimately getting pissed because Cena's calling him out on all his bullshit. No, would The Rock care or not care if the company folded tomorrow? Who's to say? But he definitely doesn't care as much as Cena. I mean, I knock Cena all the time, but I also say that I do respect him. He works very, very hard, and there's definitely a reason why he's the top guy in the company. But he then goes and calls The Rock out for having his promo notes on his wrist. Well, I say he takes his own wristbands off to show that there's nothing there, and Rock is pissed. Good for Cena, because that looked horrible that he's got this written on his arm the whole time. Plus a guy the caliber of Mike Skills with The Rock having to have notes on his arm. It sucks. So Cena is not quite done owning The Rock just yet.
April 1st, when the millions see John Cena versus The Rock, John Cena is going to be eyeing up Dwayne Johnson. And I don't like Dwayne Johnson. You probably make your boobs bounce. There'll be a thing on your eyebrow that looks like the people's eyebrow. But I'm going to be looking into the eyes of Dwayne Johnson and see a man afraid. Because you're going to be looking at a dude who may not have balls, but a dude who is going to beat the hell out of you at WrestleMania, Jack. Oh, carry on. Continue trending.
And Cena walks up the ramp with a look on his face, which is the look of a man who knows that he just owned The Rock's ass during that promo. So, there's nothing The Rock could have said to that. He tries, but, I mean, it's just nothing he could have done. Rock goes on to try to say, it's just like Cena to come out here and run his mouth before he could slap the lips off of his face, and he kind of stutters and stumbles over his words and basically says over and over again that The Rock and Dwayne are the same guy, and he's gonna kick Cena's ass at WrestleMania if you know what The Rock is cooking. And that's the end of Raw, and that's that show. I think starting probably the show after this, I'm gonna start talking a little more in depth about WrestleMania and break it down a little more. I also want to try to get some new segments incorporated into the show. Actually, this week I do have a new one. I told you guys before that no show is ever going to be complete without some Santino Marella. Unfortunately, they didn't let Santino do any talking this week on any of the shows. So, I'm not going to let that stop me, though. I refuse to be robbed of my Santino Marella, and I don't want to rob you, the fans, of your Santino Marella. I promise you that no show would be complete without a Santino clip. So, in the interest of that, I got a little something for you guys.
Well, hello there, friends. I think you know what time it is. It's time for Santino's Casa.
Well, once again, Raw was host to many of the top performers in both sports and entertainment. For example, who can forget the time that Vladimir Kozlov was humiliated by the entire cast of MacGruber?
And who can forget that time Santino mentioned MacGruber as this year's Lemmis? And I proceeded to crush him.
And who can forget the time I immediately apologized to Vladimir Kozlov right here on live TV? Vladimir, I'm sorry. I respect you. And I love you.
Oh. What?
What from Europe?
We're not in Europe.
Okay, I'll be over here.
I told you I will not be denied my Santino Marella. So, moving along, TNA had a show this week. Well, TNA starts off with Kurt Angle in the back, and all I have to say is Kurt Angle is crazy. He's losing his shit, and he proceeds to tell at least the cameraman or whoever he's talking to back there that he's gonna tell all the reasons why he jumped Jeff Hardy during the world title match with Bobby Roode, and he has a cue guys to tell all the reasons why he hates Jeff Hardy. And then we jump to show intro, and we have a new show intro, which is very, very Wembley heavy. I think they're trying to make it look like they're more of a big deal than they actually are. It would be good for them to very soon get themselves on the road and out of that god-awful studio in Orlando, but we'll see. Interesting note, the intro still has Rob Van Dam in it. His contract is supposed to be up in March, so we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, we start off and we have Kurt Angle comes to the ring to cut his promo on Jeff Hardy. Talks about why he attacked Jeff Hardy. Said he's jealous of Jeff Hardy's hair. He's pissed because Hardy wears socks on his freaking arms. And among other reasons, his number one reason is that his son loves Jeff Hardy. He goes into his son's room and he says he has hundreds and thousands of t-shirts and action figures that were put out, for Kurt Angle merchandise. And out of all this, he goes into his son's room and he steps on a bunch of Jeff Hardy action figures. So he's pissed that his son's hero is Jeff Hardy and not him. He challenges Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy comes out, slaps him, and they brawl. And that's the end of that segment. Backstage, we find Bobby Roode, and Roode says what Sting did to him is bad for business. It's bad for an authority figure to put himself in the main event, and it's just bad for business. Austin Aries comes along, and they decide that they're going to go off and have a little conference. They're going to go talk about something. We come back from break, and we have a gauntlet match. AJ Styles will run the gauntlet against Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. AJ says if he wins, then they have to tell him what the hell's going on and what the secret is. And Kaz agrees, much to Christopher Daniels' chagrin. And these guys always have good matches, no matter what combination, especially AJ and Daniels. The matches are always great. AJ starts off against Daniels. Kaz stays on the outside until Kaz eventually gets Daniels DQ'd, only to come in and cover AJ for a quick 3 count to win the match. So the dissension is there. We're not probably ever going to find out what power Daniels holds over Kazarian, but it's classic TNA writing. We come back after break, and we find Madison decorating, and she blew up all of Gail Kim's cards, her trading cards. And she says that Madison says she got Gail got Madison 2 gifts. She got her a spa day and a match with ODB, so Madison's not too happy with that one. We come back from break. We get our ODB versus Madison match. I'm just laughing at this note I have here. At one point, ODB goes for a Bronco Buster. Madison puts up a foot to block, and she basically takes a foot right in the asshole, which was pretty comical. Gail Kim trying to get on the apron with the belt. She can't. I don't know. Whatever about this match. I don't even have written down who won, to be honest with you. So I go back and forth, and I think about maybe not even covering TNA, but I want to give the complete wrestling coverage that I can. In the back, Bully Ray's bothering some stagehand. It looks like Rachel Drat from Saturday Night Live. It's kind of funny. Bully Ray blames James Storm for what happened with Brendan Jacobs from the Giants. And Bobby Roode and Austin Aries come along, and they try to recruit Bully Ray in their quest, I guess you could say, against Sting. Another scene out back. We have this awful fight between Velvet Sky, Angelina Love, and Sarita. We come back from break, and we get the full segment. Velvet Sky is complaining about Madison Rayne. She complains that it's her time, and she needs another shot at the belt, and blah, 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 blah. Angelina Love and Sarita come out and jump her, and Velvet Sky is saved by that 70s chick, Mickie James. They had her just off of filming their Merchant Madness, whatever, commercial. And then another boring backstage segment. We have Garrett Bischoff surrounded by Ric Flair, Eric Bischoff, and Gunner. Flair's telling the kid that he told him to get out of here, and he's given him 1 week to quit the business. And Garrett gives some sort of disrespectful answer, I guess. I don't really care too much to follow this story. We come back from break. We got Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and Bully Ray in the ring. Roode's complaining that Sting isn't an active wrestler. He doesn't want this match. Says Sting crossed the line when he attacked him. Ray proceeds to blame Sting for what happened with Brendan Jacobs. this promo goes on forever, and it's so long, and I can't believe sometimes that I even still watch TNA. It's like that hope in my heart that I know the potential that they have, and it's just this hope I hold on to that they're gonna. Maybe this will be the week they turn it around. Maybe this will be the week that they turn it around, and it never is. So I don't know. I'm trying to start to watch Ring of Honor too. I haven't really had the time, but we get it in my area now, so I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing with that. Probably nothing, to be honest with you. But this promo goes on forever. Austin Aries says Sting is jealous. His time is over. Aries is mad because he's X Division champion, but he hasn't been in any main events. And then the three of them they all say that they're done, and they proceed to have a sit-in. Everyone sits down in the ring. They're not going to leave. And then the lights go out. They come back on. Sting's in the ring. And he's like, so, you guys done? If you guys are done, then that means if you're really done, then you don't have a job. And if you don't have a job, you don't have the title and you don't have the money. And everyone decides, oh, no, we're not done. So Sting turns them around pretty quick on that. And then Sting makes a main event 6-man tag match. And the lights go back out and Sting's gone. We come back from break and we get another segment. It's more of the interview from Jesse Sorensen and his mom in the hospital. And I hope they're not going to do this every single week. We don't let the kid just heal. It's going to take him probably a year to recover. It's sad. Let the kid just heal. You don't need to put his mom on TV every week. We don't need to bastardize the situation. We get a comment in the back from Zema Ion. It's his first official comments about what happened with Jerry Sorensen. He basically says flat out that he has no remorse over what happened, and then he threatens to break the cameraman's neck. He'll break anyone's neck if he has to. Then we go to the ring. We have a pretty terrible match between Zema Ion and Shannon Moore. Zema wins somehow, uses that hairspray can. I really don't have the finish noted here. But, that match is basically what you could expect out of those two guys in that studio. Come back from another break, and we get a video package of fans at live events talking about how cool the experience is and how much they love TNA. And it was a pretty well put together package. And that's a question I have. They still keep showing Rob Van Dam in certain clips. I don't know if they're just holding on to a thread that he's going to stay. I hope to God that Rob goes back to WWE, at least for a year. I mean, it would be a nice way for him to finish out his career. Maybe he'll do 2 and retire. It just... They totally misused him down in TNA, pretty much from his debut. And the guy just deserves to come up and be showcased the way that he should be, and hopefully he can manage to not fail any drug tests and maybe get a hold of the title one more time. That would be nice. Anyway, we then have our knockouts match: Mickie James and Velvet Sky versus Sarita and Angelina Love, stemming from the earlier brawl in the back. And this is just annoying because Mike Tenay is constantly just talking about pop culture references for no reason, and the wrestling is very sloppy, even from Mickie, and it goes back to that studio all the time. I think that the talent is bored and they're stale and they're stagnant, wrestling in that building all the time in front of the same people. Personally, I'm sick of seeing the same people in the crowd on TV every week. So imagine how these people must feel wrestling in front of them. You don't get the same energy that you get from a fresh live crowd every night. So they need to move this thing. And who the hell knows what's going to happen with Spike TV? I think their contract's up this year, so I don't know. Velvet wins with a facebuster on Angelina. That's that. We go in the back. We find James Storm, Samoa Joe, and Magnus. Cut a backstage promo on what's going to happen in the 6-man tag later. And then we come back from break, and oh my God, I can't even believe this. This is one of the reasons why that I question why I watch this show. TNA has apparently received a letter from the family of Abyss trying to find out what happened to him after his disappearance. Alright, stop. I can't even comment on this storyline. We then have our main event, James Storm, Samoa Joe and Magnus versus Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and Bubba Ray. And the thing is, this whole match, Taz is talking about, he's wondering what next week's knockout match is going to be. That's all he talks about. He isn't... what the hell is going on with the announcers in this company and in WWE? But especially, what... I don't get it. Taz, all he wants to know about is... There's like 4 different storylines going on in this match, and he's talking about what is next week's knockout match going to be. This is shameful. Anyway, James Storm wins with a code breaker, which I guess he's calling closing time now, into a last call quote. You didn't see me do the air quotes, but I did the air quotes. Last call super kick on Bobby Roode, and that's TNA. And like I said, I don't even know if I want to cover TNA anymore, but I'm gonna, because eventually, a lot of averages, I would think they're bound to do something good sooner or later. But like I said, I'm gonna try to get some more segments like the Santino segment I had earlier. I'm gonna do some more comprehensive coverage of WrestleMania moving forward, probably in the next show or two. But until then, let's talk about SmackDown. And SmackDown comes to you this week from, I think, somewhere in Washington? I don't know. It seems like more and more lately they're not posting where they're from in the intro, in the opening, arena shot. But they were in they were in Oregon for Raw, so I think they were in Washington for SmackDown. Anyway, we start off with a Tonight Orton will murder Daniel Bryan package. And then we start off with Royal Rumble winner Sheamus coming out to the ring to cut a promo on his impending match at WrestleMania with World Champion Daniel Bryan. Now here's the thing. Sheamus gets in the ring and he starts talking about main eventing WrestleMania, and I have this in quotes on my notes because it's not the main event. It's third in line. Unfortunately, the rightful main event of this show, I still hold that is CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. And the sad thing is, I hope that the world title match doesn't open Mania like it did last year. But regardless, he's talking about main eventing WrestleMania and says how, now that Bryan has the belt, he kind of reminds Sheamus of himself.
Since Daniel Bryan became world champion, he's become a changed man. He's become conceited and obsessed. So much so that he reminds you of someone else after they won their first WWE championship. Me. When I won my first WWE championship over 2 years ago, I believed I was the greatest thing ever. I believed I deserved it. I became wrapped up in my own ego. When a matter of fact, I should have realized how lucky I was. I should have known that the WWE Championship was the greatest trophy I could have earned at that time. But what happened?
I became the one thing I despised my entire life. I became a bully. And what I needed somebody to remind me where I came from. I needed someone to set me straight. I needed someone to knock my block off and realize what I had achieved and who I was. Well, Daniel Bryan needs the same thing. And luckily enough for him, come April 1st, I'll be more than happy to show him when I kick his arse and become the new World Heavyweight Champion.
And at this point, we get, "Excuse me! Excuse me!" Vicky Guerrero comes out to interrupt, and she goes on to say, "Well, you know, that's a nice story. My favorite part was when you stopped talking." And Ziggler pretty much says the same thing. It's a nice little story you had there, but people deserve to see what they want, and what people want is to see me, meaning him, in the main event at WrestleMania. And says, "Oh, by the way, Sheamus, I don't know if you noticed, but your hair's on fire." And Sheamus has a nice line here. He's like, "Oh, fella, that joke's as old as your grandmother over there." Vicky's all upset. She's pissed off. They go on to touch on the John Laurinaitis Teddy Long situation, and they say that her and Dolph back Johnny Ace, or Laurinaitis rather. I always say Ace. I have Ace in my notes. They would much rather have Laurinaitis in charge. Vicky also states that she's the only one without the last name of McMahon who's been GM of both shows, but that makes absolutely no sense because John Laurinaitis, Teddy Long, Eric Bischoff, Mick Foley, Ric Flair, and a few others have all been general managers of these shows. So I really don't know what her point was there. This brings out Teddy Long, holla 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 player, and tells Vicky the only thing she's gonna run is Ziggler's career into the ground. So Teddy makes the match to start immediately between Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler. We come back from break and we have our match in progress. And a couple minutes in, things of interest in this match. Sheamus gets those just awesome chest forearm smashes in from over the rope that he does on the outside. And then, alright, this is what I'm talking about when I was ranting on the TNA announcers a little bit, that why do the WWE announce team consistently have no idea about their own product? This is just a little back and forth right here where Michael Cole and Josh Matthews argue over when Dolph Ziggler held the world title.
Vicky Guerrero. You know, and I also take umbrage to what Teddy Long said earlier about Vicky. Vicky has done a great job with Dolph Ziggler's career. She's not running it into the ground. Since Vicky Guerrero has taken over the career of Dolph Ziggler, he has lost the United States Championship. He was also world champion at one time. Hello? I believe that was before he was associated with Vicky Guerrero. Perhaps. Ziggler into the cover, hooks the inside leg.
You guys can argue among yourselves all you want. I mean, Dolph Ziggler.
Yes, please, argue amongst yourselves all you want, because you're both wrong. You have no clue. Ziggler's been with Vicky for like a year and a half. He had that whole thing where he was champ for about 10 minutes right before WrestleMania last year, so I don't understand the issue here and how they just consistently don't know what's going on with their own product. Don't you guys get paid enough money to know what the hell's going on around you? Anyway, at one point Sheamus is going for the bro kick. Swagger comes out for distraction and ends up eating a bro kick for his trouble. Ziggler hits the Famouser and then goes for a sleeper, which Sheamus turns right into the Celtic Cross, the real Celtic Cross. Sheamus is your winner. We get a recap about how the GMs are going to swap shows for the week. And then we go to Teddy. We find Teddy walking down the hall. He's on the phone with Oksana. And he turns into his office and finds Laurinaitis and Atanga in his office. Laurinaitis says that he came to be the better man and to get an apology. That's hilarious. He came to be the better man and get an apology for Teddy shoving him on his ass on Raw. Teddy says that Laurinaitis looked like a combination of a cow on ice and Sesame Street Big Bird. And then Teddy proceeds to make a match for tonight between Dave Otunga and the Great Khali. Oh my God, why? Like, why do we have to continually sit through these horrific matches on SmackDown? We come back from break and we get a short Spitting Cobra recap from the week before. And then we go to the ring to find that Heath, one-man rape band Slater has teleported. Not too much to say about this match except the finish. Slater goes up top and gets the Cobra. 1, 2, 3. Santino wins. Cole goes on to say that the only thing more ridiculous than the Cobra is a spin-a-rooney. Poor Booker. Man, like I said, I'm still pretty upset that we didn't have any Santino talking segments this week. But, you know, that he's just a great character, and you know that they're not done with him. We come back from break and we get another 72-minute Undertaker Triple H WrestleMania package that I said we'll have to sit through about 94 more times before they actually have the match. And then, oh my God, speaking of horrible storylines and what the hell is WWE creative thinking, we go in the back and we're in the locker room and Eve Torres is checking herself out in the mirror. She's fixing her makeup, and then this happens. Natalia comes up to talk to her. Oh, God.
I know we have a match coming up next, but there's something I really need to talk to you about.
Go ahead.
You and I haven't always seen eye to eye, but I want you to know that what you're doing to Zach is inexcusable. Zach is a really good person. He's a genuine person, Eve.
This is what you wanted to talk to me about before our match? Thank you, Natalia, for being the TMZ breaking news story of the week. You think I haven't been hearing this for the past 2 weeks? At least I'm honest enough to admit that I use Zach. And while I'm being honest, while Zach may have been sweet and genuine, he really stinks.
No, Eve. That stinks.
How dare you?
Well, Natalia lets it rip against Eve next.
This is disgraceful. I mean, they've just really done some horrible writing with some really, high caliber athletes that they've had under contract over the years. First of all, Natty rips ass and smiles before she says, that stinks. I mean, is Natty embracing the shart? I don't know. Eve's great, though. She's like, how dare you? She says, how dare you? And Cole has to throw that little line, and Natty lets it rip on Eve. So we come back from... I mean, I don't know why they insist on doing this. And we come back from break. So we have our match. It's Natalia versus Eve. It's supposed to be two heels, but I don't know. Is Natalia face now? Or are they just trying to dance on that line in case... I'm thinking they might last minute try to do Beth versus Natalia at WrestleMania. But who knows? I mean, if they're going to do it, they need to start storylining it immediately. And so this match is stupid. Booker T and Michael Cole talk nonsense about heart family irritable bowel syndrome, and it has no place in this match whatsoever. Eve wins with a hair pull and a roll up, and it looks like Natalia's smiling at the end of the match. I don't really know what that was about, but there it is. So We come back from break, and we get Cody Rhodes, and Cody comes out and talks about how he's chronicled Big Show losses at WrestleMania.
Now, if you hear it from Show, I'm at the top, the tippy top of his you-know-what list because I cost the Big Show the opportunity to go to WrestleMania. Well, Show, I hope it's a thank you list because I saved you, sir. Saved you the embarrassment of floundering yet again on the grandest stage of them all. Listen. I know you're the world's largest athlete. I know you're a former world heavyweight champion. You're one of the biggest stars in all of the WWE. You're the Big Show. But at the Big Show, you're a choke artist. Need proof? WWE has some pretty extensive archives when it comes to Big Show's most embarrassing WrestleMania moments. If you look, they'll just keep coming. For example,
So, Big Show comes out, and Cody proceeds to immediately leave the ring and jump into the crowd and run up like halfway up the stairs in the loge. Show gets in the ring, and he's like, "Hey, where you going? Where you going? I want to watch the next video clip. I want to watch the next clip. You know, we can watch it together like friends." And I'm sure he has no intention whatsoever of demolishing Cody at this point. He says, "You know, I have a good sense of humor. I can laugh at myself. I can be pretty funny sometimes." Anyway, he says, "All right, well, Cody, if you're not going to come in here, I guess I'm going to have to go out there and get you." And before Show can take off into the crowd, Teddy Long comes out. And Teddy proceeds to make the match we all knew was going to happen. At WrestleMania, for the Intercontinental title, it will be Cody Rhodes versus Big Show. And I really wanted a better quality opponent for Cody, but I mean, he's gone from... He had a match with Rey Mysterio last year, and this year he gets Big Show. We don't get Money in the Bank. We're getting Big Show versus Cody Rhodes. Just saying. Anyway, we immediately get another Big Show versus Mark Henry match. It's like every week with these matches, the Big Show versus Mark Henry is like the new Hunico versus Ted DiBiase on SmackDown. It's just terrible. There's no reason to have this every week. Anyway, points of interest in this match. I'm having a hard time talking tonight. Mark Henry clotheslines Big Show over the top early. We come back from commercial, and Cody has joined the announced team on commentary. Now, the match starts to break down. Henry and Big Show are on the outside. Mark Henry tries to throw the steps at Big Show's head. Show ducks. They hit the ring post. Back in the ring, Mark Henry goes for a World's Strongest Slam. Big Show kicks out. And the finish is Mark Henry just literally runs into a weapon of mass destruction from the Big Show, and the Big Show wins. We go out back, and Teddy Long is pissed. He's pissed at Drew McIntyre. He's telling him, "Listen, I told you if you keep losing, I'm going to have to let you go, playa." He tells him point blank if he loses his match tonight, he's fired. And then we move somewhere else out back and get an extremely boring Randy Orton interview. He's mad at Bryan for a supposed concussion. Who cares? We come back from break, and Drew has teleported to the ring, and he's going to be facing Justin Gabriel. And this match goes just a couple of minutes. Gabriel wins with the 450. Teddy Long comes out and fires Drew McIntyre. And I promise you that's not the last you're going to see Drew McIntyre. I think they're just totally breaking him down to build him up again and seeing if they can salvage anything out of this kid. So, the whole thing where he was the chosen one and he hasn't done too much. I think he's been paying for that whole domestic situation, that fight he had with Tiffany, his ex-wife, at the hotel last year. But maybe good things are on the horizon for Drew. We come back from break, get an extremely long Rock John Cena recap from Raw. And then we go to a backstage interview with Daniel Bryan. Matt Striker is asking Daniel Bryan if he has any apprehension in facing Randy Orton tonight.
I am way beyond having any butterflies in my stomach. But more about Orton later. Earlier tonight, my WrestleMania opponent Sheamus had the audacity to say that I have changed since I became the champion. Well, he's wrong. I am still the same confident, down-to-earth person who was born and raised in Aberdeen, Washington! Of course, I moved to Vegas as soon as humanly possible. But yes, I am still the same person I've always been. I'm still a vegan. No meat, no animal products, which means I'm healthier than all of you. I still don't own a TV, which means I don't spend hours in a brain-numbing trance like all of you people. I am still the love of AJ's life. I am still, unlike all of you people and everyone watching all over the world, I am still a role model. I am still the one who defeated 2 giants inside a steel cage at the Royal Rumble. I am still the one who defied all the odds and beat five men inside the Elimination Chamber. I'm still the one who will beat Randy Orton later tonight. And I am still the one who will defy everyone's expectations and walk into and out of WrestleMania as your World Heavyweight Champion.
Anybody? No. Just because that's all I could think of the entire interview was that stupid song. I love how Daniel Bryan tries for the cheap pop in Washington and they just aren't giving it to him. So we come back from break and we get our Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton match. Now, this is a little point of interest here. Once again, talking about the announce team not knowing the product. Josh Matthews has absolutely no idea how many times Booker T has held the world title.
Booker, you've held that. That's really nice. Yeah. That is really objective reporting.
Yes, that's just telling it like it is.
Booker, you've held the World Heavyweight Championship on 5 different occasions.
6.
Does it change you?
Yeah, it does change us. I mean, the proof is in the pudding right here. Look at Daniel Bryan. This guy was one of my fave 5, at the top of my fave 5. In the beginning, I really liked what he was doing, and now he just totally has changed, and he's got this in-house rat in tow, AJ. That's what I call her, an in-house rat. That's what she is. She's just right here messing it up, just like he.
And just like you changed, Booker, when you won the World Championship. I remember that you acted quite differently when you were carrying around the gold. In fact, at one time, you pretended to be a king.
Well, like I just said, it does change you. Isn't that what I just said, Cole? That's what I just said, isn't it?
Well,
I changed.
Maybe you should be defending the man.
And the sad thing is, with the Booker T, the King Booker thing, is kind of almost like a lasting image on his career, because that's, as shitty as that was, that's pretty much the last thing of value that he did. I'm not saying that the gimmick had value, but it was the last thing he did in WWE as an active wrestler. And then he went to TNA and did nothing. And then he had this little feud with Cody, and it didn't live up to what I thought it could be. And now I guess he's just done. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me that Booker would just want to do those few matches and be done with it. Hopefully, maybe this summer we'll get some more out of Booker. Who knows? But through the match, Orton is selling the concussion. He's selling the lingering effects of the concussion, which is just comical due to the fact that it's not even a concussion this time. It was his shoulder that was hurt. And I'm watching this going, are we really doing the lingering effects from the concussion again? He did this for like half the summer last year versus Christian. So, not really a big fan of revisiting that, especially so soon. We come back from the break, and Daniel Bryan, ironically enough, is working the shoulder, which was the whole problem in the first place. Orton's got a history of shoulder problems, and I think he's been putting off his surgery for quite some time now. Booker gets all pissed off, and he has officially taken back the nickname of D. Bryan. Says he's now once again Daniel, and he's not going to call him D. Bryan anymore. As the match goes forward, they end up on the outside. Now Orton goes for the Hangman DDT on the outside. Before he can even do it, boom, Kane comes out. We get pyro, lights, music, the whole works. Kane comes out to attack Randy Orton. Right when Kane comes out, Bryan is just gone. Bryan rolls into the ring to get away from Kane. AJ's in the ring for some reason. Kane follows. Bryan bails out of the ring and leaves AJ in the ring by herself with Kane. What an asshole. And he's waving AJ. He's like, come on, come on. But this jerk left AJ in the ring alone with Kane. She would have got murdered. Again. And Booker throws out one of his favorite new lines. He says, Kane has lost his damn mind. Kane and Orton fight around the ringside area for a minute. It ends up rolling back into the ring. Kane gets the upper hand and eventually chokeslams Orton. And then he just has a little message for Randy.
Welcome back, Randy. Welcome back.
Guys, I don't get it.
This is a message, guys, not just to SmackDown, not just to Raw, but the WWE is in trouble.
Ooh, we certainly are, because I'm thinking, oh my god, we're going to get the hot match of Randy Orton versus Kane at WrestleMania. Now, it's well documented that I'm not a Randy Orton fan, but Kane, Jesus Christ, for WrestleMania? It's yet to be determined if this is going to be a terrible singles match or if this is going to be a part of the rumored 12-man tag match. Team Teddy Long versus Team Laurinaitis. So stay tuned for that one. And then we go out in the back. We find Laurinaitis and Atunga watching on the screen to what just happened. And Laurinaitis says, you know what, next week I might just book Kane versus Oksana. So he's going to try to get into Teddy Long's head somehow next week. Can you imagine Kane versus Oksana? Oh my god. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen because they try to not promote man and woman violence anymore in WWE, but Jesus Christ. So that's SmackDown, and that's your week in wrestling. Now, I said earlier that we had, there was a telephone interview on WWE.com with Shawn Michaels. Basically, the interviewer just tries to he tries asking Shawn point blank, do you think you're better than Triple H? And Shawn's like, listen, it's not about that. It's not whether who's better or not. And then the reporter just continually pokes Shawn until Shawn just friggin' loses it and breaks down and says that he is, without a doubt, the greatest in-ring performer of all time, which is right, but it's weird for them to have Shawn get storyline arrogant like that. But that was the basic thing on that phone call. Other than that, this is going to be the show for the week. Raw is going to be in Boston coming up, and I'm going to be in attendance, so I'll have a couple of little extra notes for you guys on the next show about that one. Michaels is going to be there. Rock's going to be there, so should be a pretty good show. Like I said at the top, check out the brand new 3 Count Radio Podcast Network. Check out my stuff on Facebook.com/wrestlingsforreal with a number 4. Twitter @wrestlingsforreal. The current home of this show is on YouTube, Wrestling's For Real. The website's still under construction, no shock there. And like I said, next week I think we're gonna dive a little deeper into the WrestleMania because the card's pretty much set. I don't see really any surprises coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, having said that, I'll just leave you with these little nuggets. Take care, you guys.
In the ring, in the air, out of control! WWF WrestleMania from NES! 8-Man Mayhem! Did you see that? Hulkamania, brother! Choose from 6 superstars! Unbelievable combat! No holds barred, anything goes action! It's a slugfest! 2 wrestlers in the ring, brother! Kick from anywhere! Total chaos! Punch in 2 directions! Complete mayhem! Run at your opponent! Amazing! Spinorama! WWF WrestleMania for NES! I inject steroids into my balls, brother!